Today we will talk about security using dark rooms. In this presentation or in this video, we will talk about how to secure your information for your application. The stage one, as you know, is to access the application. Assume that we have an application with multiple access of users. Every user should access the application using his ID and password. Of course, the ID and password will be checked to be the same as in the database. If there is incorrect information or incorrect ID or password, of course, it will not match the data in the database and will request the user to enter again the correct access information. Now, if the users could access the application using their login IDs and passwords. In this case, the database, the users will access your application, and in the application will make a copy for every user. So this is the first response. The users will not be able to access the original application, original pages, and the application will make a copy. And this copy, of course, will be named randomly by at least 32 or 64 random letters. The second stage, the users that could access the application, they will work with the copy of the original application, all users, user 1, user 2, and user 3. And the copies they are identical, except that they are all in different folders with different random names, and these random names cannot be repeated because they are the probability of repeating is very low. So the users will use these copies. For user 1, there is a copy for him, and he can work with application. But as you see, all copies, they are connected to the database, and the database will be changed or updated, or you can read the database or write into the database for every user separately. So the changes will be only in the database. Of course, the user also can add files or remove files from the main application, but using, of course, it's his own folders. So this is the method that I'm explaining here is a very secure method that, first of all, the users will not have the ability to access the main application. They will not be able to access at the same time, so the application will be respond very bad if there is multiple access to the same pages in your application. So they are working separately, they don't know about each other, they are what we call they are working in the dark rooms or separate rooms. All users will use the application for reading, for writing, for it's based on the application itself. At the same time, the main application will be open for new users. New users can also log in. For example, if we have multiple users, 100 users, 200 users, we will have 100 or 200 copies. After finishing using the application, of course, all users will shut down the application, will go from the web application, and the copies will remain on the server, and they will not be removed. And as you know, you will say that it will take a lot of space on the server. Yes, this is right, but the idea here will be we can solve this problem in stage number 3. In stage number 3, if this same user using the same ID and password will access the same application, the system already saved the random name of every copy. So in the next access or the second access, the system will automatically delete the copy, for example, for user 1, and make a new copy with a new name that contains 32 or 64 or 48, depends on the level of security that you need. And this new copy will be used by this user. Of course, using this method will make the access, multiple access in the same time in parallel for all users. There will be no interference between users, and this will make very high security. If somebody want to access the main application, of course, the weak point here is the ID and password. So the user should carefully use a good password of high level that to be sure that nobody else will access his account on this application. I explained this method that I'm using in my web applications. It's a very good method, and I hope that you enjoyed this method that I called multiple access for my application using dark